Alrighty, Coach Allden here getting ready for the Blazer Classic down in Alabama. Coach, what are your expectations this weekend for the team?
Well, we're in a good, solid 10-team race. We'll be facing, among others, Auburn and Clemson, and then a kind of a mixed field. So definitely want to try and break up those teams if we can. Louisville will be in there as well. So a good, solid race for us. Probably the biggest thing is this will be even though it's only our second race, it'll be our first 6K of the season, which is our championship distance that we'll be facing at the SEC meet. So it'll be interesting to see how some folks transition to 6K. I think we're a little better 6K team than we are a 5K team. So I think that's in our favor, but still it'll be our first 6K of the season.
You know, and talking about, you know, we have some kids that are going to run for the first time at this meet at the 6K. So what do you kind of look at and tell them as they get ready for this meet, and obviously to the rest of the team going from a 5 to a 6, and kind of what does that transition look like between races?
I think we've been training for 6K all year, knowing that that's a championship distance. So I don't think it's a huge shock. Probably the biggest challenge is always for the freshmen, their first 6K. For the upperclassmen, it's not really a big change, but yeah, it can be a little bit of a culture shock for the freshmen in particular.
And I talked to some of the, you know, obviously the upperclassmen with Rachel and Heather, and talked to them kind of about what's the differences between the last meet and this meet. Not only the distance, but applying what they, you know, learned coming from their first meet and apply to their second meet to kind of improve their time.
Well, I think there is always to some degree a little bit of rust busting with the first competition, both mentally and physically. What I often talk about is how the quality of training often improves after the first competition. As I describe it, kind of like your pain tolerance goes down. You realize that races are supposed to hurt, and then you come back the next week and you run a little bit harder in practice, and then that translates as you move down the course of the season. So I definitely think it's a benefit that we've got a race under our belt. I definitely think it was a little bit more challenging 2 weeks ago when some of the teams had raced 2 weeks prior and we had not. So I'm optimistic that that'll help us this time around.
You know, and obviously this course, we know we don't have too much experience at this course. So what do you kind of tell a team, you know, if they don't know the course? Obviously we'll get a chance to see the course before we run it, but what do you tell the team as they get prepared to go run a new course?
Well, I think from what I hear of the course, it's fair. It's challenging but fair. I think to me the course is kind of irrelevant because everyone has to race it. And as you point out, we'll have the opportunity to preview it the day before and get a little bit of a sense of how it lays out. But at the end of the day, everybody's got to race on the same course.
Awesome. And what are you most excited for this weekend in general?
I'm excited to have a couple more people back in the lineup. We got 1 or 2 people that we're holding out, so that's a little bit of a swap over. We're hoping to have them back for SECs. But mostly I'm excited for the combination of the first 6K and to get a couple more folks back in the lineup.
Awesome. Well, good luck this weekend, Coach.
Thank you very much.